As prices in the second-hand market continue to rise, watch collectors are becoming increasingly interested in the hobby. There are several examples from across the globe, some more desired than others in the sector. Investing in a watch may cost as much as $1 million, so buying something you like is better. What are the watches to consider in starting a watch collection? Well, watch this video to find out. Here are the best watches for a beginning watch collection that you should buy. Hello and welcome to Luxury Premier, the ultimate destination for dreamers pursuing insight. And if you're here with us, it's not a coincidence that you are watching this video. Here in Luxury Premier, we only want what is best for you. May our videos inspire you and hope that all of your dreams may come true. Omega Speedmaster. We're discussing one of the most storied timepieces in history. Until the ultimate public consecration gained during the moon missions, its distinctive design was and still is one of the foundations of the watchmaking industry since its debut at the tail end of the 1950s. Regardless of the scenario, you can count on this watch to look exquisite in formal settings while exploding with personality in more casual ones. It's just as stunning on a man's wrist as a woman's. Besides being a popular collectible, the Speedy has appeared in various media, each with its unique take on the design and materials. The item is accessible to a broad range of collectors from all over the globe because of its unique feature. For a watch that combines vintage appeal with a reasonable market price, the Moonwatch Professional Reference 311.30.42.30.01.005 caliber 1861 mechanical hand wood and, no questions asked, hesitant glass reference 145.022 is an excellent option. Furlan Marri. It must mention Furlan Marri and its incredible success in watch collecting. 6 months after its formation, the company won the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie de Geneve 2021 with the Mr. Gray Reference 1041A chronograph. The following are the 4 reasons why we should include it in a collection deserving of the title. This watch is a beautiful thing, it is technically intriguing, and it brings back to life with the Mecha Quartz movement a piece of Swiss watchmaking history from the 1980s. It is inexpensive and it is cursed. What are, in your view, the finest examples? Every one of them, without exception. For example, the 1031-A with the subdials of the chocolate clock on a salmon basis and La 1022-A with the subdials of the Chrono Argente on a black lacquered backdrop are just 2 of the many options. Baltic. There's something exotic about the combination of French refinement with Oriental energy. Friends of IWS, I'm not referring to a fictional superhero or a rising Hollywood celebrity. Etienne Malik launched Baltic watches in 2017, intending to recreate one-of-a-kind watches inspired by his father's antique collection. There are 4 main areas of production for Mason's watches. The East, where the movements are received primarily from Miyota and Seagull. France, where straps and bracelets are made. Italy, where other components necessary to the watch's construction are made. And finally, France, specifically Besançon, where the clock is assembled and tested before it is sent out to retail outlets worldwide. The first thing that draws the eye is how inexpensive the costs are despite the exceptional quality of the products. Due to Mason's decision to deal directly with the customer, removing the typical middleman profits, this problem exists. Regarding the watches in the projected collection, the Aquascape Diver merits a particular note, powered by a Miyota 9039 movement, which our magazine evaluated in the summer of 2018. Patek Philippe Reference 96. One of the iconic models that helped shape the history of the world's premier watchmaker, Patek Philippe, must be included in the top 10 most extraordinary watches to start a collection. We're talking about the exquisite Calatrava and how, since its debut in 1932, its beauty, simplicity, and purity of design have swept the globe, earning it the title of greatest round case dress watch ever. Minimalism in its purest form, free of extraneous embellishment, reveals Bauhaus's emphasis on the object's function rather than its appearance. The gold round case is 31 mm in diameter and is 9 mm thick. Tapered lugs comfortably fit around the wrist, while the bezel is polished and flat. One of the best examples of the Bauhausian utility is the white dial with yellow gold hour markers and dolphin spheres, which shows the time to the wearer simply and plainly. You're only a few seconds away when it's time to clock out. If just for the sake of its history, this is a stunning piece of art. Rolex Prince. Although the players were more interested in trying out new movements, cases, and shapes at the time, the classic rectangular case was a huge hit and had a devoted following for more than a decade until it was phased out at the end of the 1940s. Duo dial with hours and minutes overlaid on one another, while the bottom section shows seconds, is the object's most distinctive feature. For this same reason, physicians of the period referred to it as Doc Watch because of its simplicity of viewing the second hand. Hermann Eigler's movement, on the other hand, despite its lack of technical value, has intriguing features that people developed to fit the contour of the case. Heuer Monaco 1133B. According to Marino in an interview a few years ago, we at the IWS also know the Monaco Heuer well. In this instance, the reference 1133B so much that we can't help but include it in our top 10. With this magnificent creature, we immediately think of a model unlike any other, capable of giving the timepiece an actual gritty that best utilizes the power of speed. When Steve McQueen wore it on board his Gulf Porsche 917 in the classic film Le Mans about the historic endurance race through the Alps, the multi-decorated narrative of this reference shared the spotlight. The uniqueness of this item is not limited to the fact that Steve McQueen wore it. It extends to how people made it. With its chronomatic caliber 11, and a tiny peripheral rotor fully incorporated into movement thickness, it was also the first waterproof square case watch on the market. Saturday Night Fever is a retro vibe that makes you want to seek records simply by glancing at it. It is a work for collectors only, in my opinion. Universal Geneve Uni Compax. Throughout its history, Universal Geneve has maintained a reputation for producing high-quality goods when the market was in flux. In the early 19th century, people built the first Mason wristwatches with a chronometric complexity. But in 1933, the original local company made the first double-pusher chronographs based on Martel watch movements. These were followed by models like Compur, Compax, Contax, and last but not least, the Era Compax, which were made to keep up with the competition. Unique Compax's two-button chronometric capability, which allowed for the recording of winter time by halting and restarting the measurement, was introduced in 1936. The 45-minute adder and the seconds were represented by the two little quadrants of the timepiece. Instead, the tachymeter scale is neatly tucked away on the dial's periphery. As a collector, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better timepiece than this one. It is a stunning timepiece that has become a cult item for watch collectors throughout the globe. Recommendations include the 124116 made in the 1950s, with a rose gold case, a silver dial, and Arabic numerals at 6 and 12 that match the case. Between the 1940s and 1950s, reference 22409 was also made in steel, with a cream-colored dial, Arabic numerals, and circular chrono keys. Audemars Piguet Dual Audemars 25859ST. The famous Swiss fashion house AP honors one of the family's two founders with the Dual Audemars line. These beautiful things must have classic shapes, fine materials, and high-quality craftsmanship. I think that the reference 25859ST, which we want to show you, is one of the most elegant timepieces in the world. This beautiful two-counter chronograph was and still is the Pop line's answer to the more expensive Royal Oak line. The round steel case is 39mm in diameter and 11mm thick, which is a good size. On the right side of the case, next to the AP decorated winding crown, two elegant buttons control the clock. The movement is made by Audemars Piguet and is self-winding. The caliber 2226 has 51 jewels and vibrates at 28,000 times per hour. It has about 40 hours of power reserve. As was stated earlier, the two small counters of the chrono are what make the dial stand out. The dial also has Arabic numerals next to triangles and odd numbers. The dials, which come in black, navy blue, and silver, show the brand's classic style and elegance at the wearer's touch. A decent watch can do a lot of different things. If you're looking for something that will last a lifetime, represent your style and hobbies, tell a compelling tale, become a family heirloom, and even outperform blue chip stocks in the long run, you've come to the perfect place. In most situations, your first watch will be the germ for a complete collection of watches. Today, we hope you learned something new that you will remember for the rest of your life. We'd like to thank everyone who has stayed with us this far. Despite the fact that we have never met, please know that we respect and admire you for choosing to be here today. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, dreamers. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos.